Chapter 11 Quality Section 1.
I knew him from the days when my first boots were made for me by his elder brother. It had been my habit to go to his little shop, which was situated in a quiet, narrow street in London. It was a simple place, with no signboard except the name
Gassler Brothers
on a plain brass plate. There was no advertisement, no grand window display, just a small, modest shop where two brothers made boots of such exceptional quality that they had earned a reputation among a select group of customers. The Gassler brothers were German immigrants, and they had been making boots by hand for as long as I could remember. Their boots were not only strong and durable, but they also fit the foot perfectly, as if the shoes had become one with the wearer. The brothers took great pride in their work and treated their craft with almost religious reverence. They worked tirelessly in the small workshop behind the shop, cutting leather, stitching the soles, and shaping the boots with care and precision. Whenever I visited the shop, I was greeted by Mr. Gassler, the younger of the two brothers. He was a quiet, dignified man with a serious expression on his face. His hands, roughened by years of labor, would carefully measure my feet as he discussed my requirements. He never used fancy words or tried to persuade me to buy anything beyond what I needed. Instead, he spoke with a deep sincerity, his heavy German accent coloring his speech.
"So,"
he would say,
"you want some new boots?" "Yes, sir. I shall make them for you."
I always trusted him completely. He would examine my old boots, frowning slightly, and ask,
"They give you some trouble? I shall make them better this time."
And indeed the boots he made never failed to impress me. They were masterpieces of craftsmanship, strong yet elegant, and made to last. The leather was of the highest quality, supple yet durable, and the stitching was done with such precision that it was almost invisible. Mr. Gassler never hurried through his work. He believed in doing things properly, no matter how long it took. Over the years, I became one of his loyal customers, and I was always amazed at how dedicated he was to his craft. He lived for his boots, and he poured his heart and soul into every pair he made. It was more than just a profession to him, it was an art form. But as time went on, I noticed that fewer and fewer people visited the shop. The Gassler brothers continued to make boots of the finest quality, but their business was suffering. The rise of large shoe companies and the introduction of cheaper machine-made shoes had made it difficult for small independent craftsmen like the Gassler brothers to survive. Their customers began to drift away, drawn by the convenience and lower prices of the new factories. Section 2. One day I visited the shop to order a new pair of boots, and I noticed that the elder brother was no longer there. Mr. Gassler, with a sad expression, informed me that his brother had passed away. Now he was left to run the shop on his own. His hair had turned grey, and his face looked more lined and tired than I had remembered. Yet his dedication to his craft remained unchanged. He still insisted on making each pair of boots by hand, refusing to compromise on quality, even though it took him much longer to complete each order.
"These big firms,"
he said quietly one day,
"they take away my trade. They make the boots cheaper, but they do not last. People do not care for quality anymore."
I could hear the sadness in his voice. He was a man who believed deeply in the value of quality and craftsmanship, but the world around him was changing. People were no longer willing to pay for something that would last a lifetime. They wanted quick, inexpensive products that could be replaced easily. As the years passed, I continued to order boots from Mr. Gassler, though it became increasingly clear that his business was struggling. Each time I visited the shop, it seemed emptier than before, and Mr. Gassler himself looked more worn out. Yet despite the difficulties, he never compromised on the quality of his work. His boots were still the finest I had ever worn. One day I went to the shop to place another order, but I was shocked to find that it had been closed down. I asked around and learned that Mr. Gassler had fallen ill and could no longer work. The shop had been taken over by a larger company, and the Gassler name had disappeared from the street. I felt a deep sense of loss, It was not just the loss of a shop, but the loss of a craftsman, a man who had devoted his life to his art. Some time later, I visited the new shop that had taken over the space. The manager, noticing my interest, approached me and said,
"Ah, you must be one of the old customers. You knew Mr. Gessler didn't sit you."
Yes,
I replied.
I knew him well. He made all my boots.
The manager nodded sympathetically.
He was a remarkable man, a true craftsman. But in the end, he couldn't compete with the big firms. He refused to lower his standards, and that's why he couldn't keep up.
I sighed, understanding what had happened. Mr. Gessler had remained true to his principles, even at the cost of his business. He had valued quality over profit, and in the end it had cost him everything. But to me, and to the few loyal customers who had appreciated his work, he had created something far more valuable than just boots. He had created lasting works of art, crafted with love, skill and dedication. As I walked away from the shop that day, I thought about the meaning of quality. It wasn't just about making something well, it was about putting your heart into what you did, about striving for perfection, even when no one else seemed to care. Mr. Gessler's boots had been a reflection of his character, a testament to the idea that true craftsmanship is a labor of love. And though the world might have moved on, with its factories and mass-produced goods, I knew that the memory of those boots, the feel of the fine leather, the perfect fit, would stay with me forever.